Welcome to Mazel Talk from ADL's Higher Ed. Each week, we share firsthand stories of Jewish students on college campuses. Their stories in their own words. This is all of our fight, and these voices need to be heard, so listen closely.
My name is Levi Fox. I'm currently a double major in public relations and strategic and risk communications at the University of Texas at Austin. I first met Uncle Zoly when I was in 5th grade. Once a month on Friday, my Jewish day school would take us down the street to a local Jewish retirement home, and we would just hang out. And eventually on one of the Fridays, my mom pulled me aside to meet two individuals who were working at the gift shop, and that interaction changed my life. I met Zoly Zamir and Alex Schlesinger, and after a very brief conversation, they invited me to lunch the next Friday. So the next Friday, I found myself being pulled out of school by my mom, driven 5 to 10 minutes down to a local Jewish restaurant called My Pita, and I met 5 to 10 Holocaust survivors, and Zoly introduced me to all of them. And then I found myself over the next years going every Friday and sitting with these 10 to 15 Holocaust survivors and hearing their stories. That's just one of the memories that I have of every Friday stepping out of school and having a bottle of Perrier and a falafel pita and sitting down with these gentlemen. And eventually, as I grew older and started preparing for my bar mitzvah, I was made aware of something called twinning, which is something that is done typically for Holocaust survivors, but really for any Jew that faced persecution that did not have the opportunity to become a b'nai mitzvah. And I knew from the get-go that I wanted to twin Uncle Zoly. He had become incredibly close to me. We don't have a familial connection, but he became so close that I just started calling him Uncle Zoly. And I knew that I had to, with all that he had given me, all of the stories and all of the courage and the leadership he had bestowed upon me, I had to give him something back. And this was something I could do. So, unfortunately, in April 2017, he passed away, and my b'nai mitzvah was scheduled for September 2017, but was pushed back a couple of months due to Hurricane Harvey. But eventually, in January 2018, I finally was able to pay back some amount of debt that I had to Uncle Zoly with all that he'd given me by twinning him. And decades overdue, he finally became a b'nai mitzvah. And that still to this day is the most important thing I've ever done in my life. But one story that Uncle Zoly told me was when he was 15, he returned home and had to tell his family he was barred from coming back to school because he was Jewish, a year or two before Nazi Germany invaded Allied Romania. He was told by his headmaster at his school, "You're a Jew, and because of that piece of your identity, you are not welcome here, and you are not welcome to get educated. Turn in your uniform and don't ever come back." That kind of stuck with me because at the time I literally went to a Jewish day school, which, contrasting those stories of being kicked out of education for being Jewish and then having the opportunity to go to a Jewish day school, were total polar opposites of each other. And that stuck with me when I went to public school in middle and high school, and that lesson that Uncle Zoly taught me of if you want to persuade people, you have to educate them because that's the most powerful tool you have, stuck with me. And especially as we approached, last spring during the protests, that lesson always was in the back of my mind, and how important education was and educating others in a proper way. And I think of myself standing across from people who are calling for the genocide of the Jewish people, who are standing with Hamas. And I stand there not to yell at them, not in a fit of rage, even though what they're saying is incredibly painful. I knew counter-protesting and screaming wasn't helpful at all. But I knew that talking to people and educating them and talking to them and having an actual conversation and actual debate, I might not be able to change their mind in that day. But starting a conversation and having a productive dialogue is what Uncle Zoly taught me was important. If you two are screaming at each other, you're not listening to each other. And stressing the importance of listening and education and actual thoughtful, productive dialogue is always what Uncle Zoly taught me what to do. Because he knew in the back of his mind that I would face Holocaust deniers and anti-Zionists and all this when I grew up. I think about that a lot, and I can't be anything but grateful for that story and him equipping me with that.
Thanks for listening to Mazel Talk from ADL's Higher Ed. To learn more about how to fight anti-Semitism on your campus, go to notoleranceforantisemitism.adl.org. To report a campus anti-Semitism incident, text "call help," all one word, to 51555 or go to adl.org/call for free legal help. Subscribe to Higher Ed today for weekly conversations and stories about Jewish campus life. Please rate and review us, and if you have a story to share, email us at highered@adl.org. That's CHAIERED@adl.org. We look forward to hearing your stories. I'm your host, Luda Saharov, and this is Higher Ed.